What is it like being a Jamaican in the Turks and Caicos? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com. Today in Jamaicans to the World, I talk to Franklyn Powell, a Jamaican who has been living in Turks and Caicos. Welcome, Franklyn. How are you?
Thank you very much, Xavier. It's a pleasure to be called to be on your program, and I'm doing okay today. Good morning to the viewers.
Thanks for coming on board. I know you're a busy guy, and we'll get into a little bit of that later. But the first question is, which part of Jamaica you come from?
Okay, I'm from the parish of Westmoreland, so I'm a Westmorelite, and I was born and grew up in a little district known as Delvland. It's spelled Delveland. It's not a well-known or a popular district, but it's nestled in the hilly section of the, you would say, northwestern section of the parish. It's on your way to Negril, I would say midway between Negril and Savannah. You turn right and go up into the hills. I just want to say something about Delvland. We are famous for a type of mango known as Graham. I don't know if you have heard about it, but Graham mango is very famous there. I think that's earlier on, that's maybe only here I was grown in the country. So persons would come once it's mango season.
Is it a big mango? I think I heard I think I've heard a Graham before. Is it a big mango?
It can be. It's sometimes you have big ones and small ones, but it's on the flat side and it's a bit round. So the texture, the taste of it is like a cross between Julie mango and East Indian. So it's a bit fleshy, very sweet, and it's a bit hairy also. But it's very popular. People come from all over the country, all over the world, you would say. Once it's mango season, they find Delvland. Persons who you normally would not know would find you to befriend you when it's mango season just to get some of the Graham mango. So I just want to put that there to just pick up that little district of Delvland where I'm from. Delvland, Westmoreland.
So I'm going to change things up in my order here now. So you take any Graham mango there to Turks and Caicos and plant it?
No, I haven't done that. But when I was there recently, my mother actually saved the mangoes for me. All different types of mango, but more so the Graham. So she had them frozen. And when I came, she gave them to me and I actually carried up a few. So that's how, she know I love them and, I was able to. But I haven't gotten to that stage of bringing up any. Maybe other Jamaicans are here that would have done that before. So I could check out also, and it's a suggestion, it's an idea I could think about it to bring up one of the seedlings to have it here also.
Yeah, man, you're serious about your mango. If your mother freezing it for you, yeah, you're serious about your mango.
Very much so.
So, which high school you representing there now?
Okay, so the famous Manning's High School. Everybody from Westmoreland would want to go to Manning's High School. So I'm a product of Manning's High School.
All right. Big up Manning's. Yes. Big up Manning's.
Big up.
So Franklyn, tell us the story of how you got to Turks and Caicos.
Okay, so getting here, I'll have to go back a little. So I was an emergency medical technician with a private ambulance company in Kingston. After working with them for several years, I was assigned with an ambulance from the company to the bauxite company in Clarendon. And I went there as a EVO, as an emergency medical technician. You have to be able to operate the ambulance by driving it and also to work the back with the patient. So we were assigned there, two of us, to work there as EVOs with a Jamaican company, an assignment from our company. While being there, the head nurse for the medical department we were assigned, I guess she was impressed with our work attitude and etiquette, and so she told us that the company was looking EMTs, and they offered us a position, and we accepted and came over to Jamalco. But a couple more years after that, the company had a restructuring exercise, and so our positions as EMTs came up for redundancy. And so they were actually training the securities to be EMTs. So basically, our post would be redundant. So I was job hunting, and a colleague of mine who used to work at the same private ambulance company, by then he was in Turks and Caicos Islands for about 9 years with their EMS system, emergency medical services. And so he told me that they were actually looking EMTs here. And I applied. That was in 2017, about May. And it took me all the way until April of 2018. After a series of waiting, not hearing anything for a long while, I almost forgot about the application that I've submitted. And after about maybe 6 months, I heard from them, and I did a series of interviews and eventually was selected, and I came into the country April of 2018. So that's how I came here, and I've been with their emergency medical services, the government national emergency services, since then in their ambulance operations.
Well, let me say this. Thank you for your service. You're on the front lines there. And so we appreciate what you're doing there. Can't imagine, the pandemic and how you have been working really hard, because I know the healthcare workers are pressured, So thank you, sir.
Yes, we are. Yes, and in the outset, when the outbreak of the pandemic, we were actually more pressured then, because every other case you have to be thinking that it's a possible COVID case. So we had to put on our full turnout gear, suit, mask, eyewear, headwear, footwear, the whole works. So and that can be a bit uncomfortable. Right. Especially in the tropical climate, it can be hot when you have on those suits. But we had to do it to protect ourselves and also to protect our patients, and to just contain the spread. So it wasn't easy going, and even some of my colleagues, they ended up not succumbing. They had the virus, and so they had to be placed and quarantined also. And so it wasn't easy, but we have gotten over the worst, and so far, we are not in a bad state or condition, position in the Turks and Caicos Islands right now as it relates to the pandemic.
Okay, I see. Turks and Caicos has how many islands there? Is it 4 or 5 or more than that? Could be more.
more than that. It's the chain is over 30 in the chain, but in terms of the islands that are habitable, we have about 7 to 8 islands that are habitable. So the main island is the most habitable island right now is Providencialis. They call it Provo. So once you are entering the country, the main port or airport is in Provo. That's where we normally enter. You have the island capital, which is Grand Turk. There also have an international airport there, but the main port of arrival is mainly Providencialis. So when I'm coming from Jamaica, that's the airport I come. Providencialis International Airport, and then we move from there. You have smaller planes that take you to the different islands, and you also have boat ferry that take you from island to island. So
that's nice. That's nice that they have they have a ferry that will take you from island to island. That's
yes. Good. So I am on the island North Caicos. So the Turks and Caicos Islands is made up of, as the name suggests, you have the Caicos Bank or Caicos Islands, and then you have the Turks Banks or Turks Islands. So you have North Caicos, South Caicos, East Caicos, Middle Caicos, North Caicos. So North and Middle are what you call adjoining islands. So they are joined together but separated by a causeway, not like Portmore Causeway, which is very large and arching. The causeway here is just a flat little bridge. Prior to the bridge, I was told the water that separates the islands was so shallow that persons could just walk across. And that's what I understand for most of the sea surrounding the various islands. When it's low tide, persons could almost walk across to to various islands, from island to island. So it's that
Amazing.
sort of situation. But I'm at North Caicos at the moment, and I've been here since September 2019.
Okay. How long does it take to drive the island you're on? How long does it take to drive around the island?
So from one end of the island to the next, for North Caicos, you would say 20 minutes top. And then to Middle Caicos, it's another 15, maybe 20 minutes average driving. If you're using the ambulance, then we can do it in 15 or less minutes under emergency mode. But the islands are very small. Providencial is almost the same thing. From end to end, half an hour top, you clear it, you know. And so you have a way that runs from the length of it. Good road in North Caicos, same in Providencialis. Providencialis is, like I say, it's the most habitated island and most developed. So that's where the action is right now. So the roads are better there. You have more paved road there. You have an area that you have mostly tourist resort. So it's you have still a little few rundown areas, but it's more developed. So
I see.
It's within driving range.
I see. So let's get into the people. Talk to me about the people in Turks and Caicos. I know people always think, boy, it's Caribbean, we're all alike, but we're different.
Okay, so as you said, the history is basically the same. I understand here. So you know they came from the slavery background, and more the locals here are Africans on the most part. So they are overall generally they are friendly people, you know. But the big thing I find here, not really a big thing, but there's a little underpinning of it. There's a bit of the locals tend to be very protective of their what they call belonger status. So once you're a local, they are referred to as a belonger. So you know they see most foreigners, they would tend to, you know, have a little thing to say that foreigners are coming to take away their jobs, so they might tend not to. Some persons will show you that, but on the most part, like I said, they are friendly. But that's an opinion thing that is there. That, you know, I guess it goes to their culture, you know, and so that's there. But generally, they are friendly people. So I must say that.
And when the locals find out that you are Jamaican, what's typically the response? Is it, you know, nice, you know, is the response a good response, or the questions? What typically happens when they find out you're Jamaican?
Well, most persons that I interact with, they would readily, I guess, from my accent, most persons will pick it up and know that I'm Jamaican. But I have worked with, in my line of work, we take patients from the hospital who are going abroad for treatment, and you have a flight crew will come in with medics, and sometimes when you pick them up from the airport and going to the Wazi hospital, they will be talking, and sometimes we'll ask where you're from, and when I tell them I'm from Jamaica, they say, "Oh, really? You're from Jamaica?" And they say, "That's very nice," you know, and they have been there with patients also. So the response is always good. But also, I remember one occasion I went to a christening for my coworker godson. He invited me, and we went to the church. We had this ceremony at the church, and then they had a luncheon at the family's house, and I was there, you know, and talking. And well, I love my domino game, so right away from I reached there, I asked if we could get some domino to play. And a gentleman there, he said he loved domino also, so he came with his domino and set up table and chair, and we were there playing, you know, and you know, talking, and they finally reached the point now they had a cake to cut for the young man. So we get around the table and we're there, and a lady came up to me and said, "You're from Jamaica?" I said, "Yes." She said she heard it in the accent, and you know, she said, "Very good, and we're happy to have you here." And you know, so it was very good. You know, another instant, yes.
I thought you were going to say, when you started to clap them dominoes upon the table, then realize you're Jamaican.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. It could be from that also. It could be from that point. She picked it up, but she commented on the accent. I guess from the interaction, I know I was behaving. She picked it up and she commented on it.
That is what I
Yes.
was thinking, that once you start to clap them dominoes, man, somebody will say, only Jamaicans play domino like that.
Well, you have they have some. Turks and Caicos Island is most of the population here are not locals, so locals are in the minority. So overall, they might say overall population here is about roughly 50,000 people spread across the various islands. For the main island, Providencialis, you'd have maybe about 40,000. The island capital, Grand Turk, maybe about under 10,000. And then the rest is spread out. The island I'm on, you have maybe about little under 2,000 people. And the other islands are little less than that, some maybe 500 or thereabout, But
Wow.
they have a lot of Haitians here. Yeah, a lot of Haitians are here. And so foreigners make up the bulk of the population here. The minority are locals. And so you have a lot of Jamaicans, Trinidadian, Barbadian, all over. They spread from the Caribbean. But so you have the Haitians, they love domino game, and even the locals too. I realize that they play domino a lot here too. But because of the pandemic, it was on everything was scaled down, So
Right.
I love my domino. I always try to find somewhere I could play. But right now, a long time I haven't played any. I was glad when I came to Jamaica. I got to play with my family basically, because that's where I learned domino. I'm from a family of domino players. My mother, father, even my little niece, she can beat you in domino. Yes.
I was
So
at
it's
always
in the
say
blood,
I just match. I just say
Okay.
I just match. That's all I do. I'm not a serious domino player. But I cut you off a minute ago. You were about to say another incident. You were gonna say another incident where somebody realized you were Jamaican.
Yes. I went on a call and we were attending to a patient, and during the interaction with the patient, one of the family member approached me and she said she thought I was a Haitian, but I guess something that I was doing or saying, and I told her, no, I'm not an Haitian, I'm a Jamaican. And she said, okay, but I don't know, maybe just my look or what, but it's not the first time persons say they thought I was a Haitian, but
Okay.
I let them know I'm a Jamaican, so they say, okay.
Well, good. So in terms of people, I'm gonna stay on people there. You and I talked earlier. You're a single guy. What is
Yes.
and I know it's a pandemic and things are a little different, but what is the dating scene like? Is the cultures of the women different than the women or the folks in Jamaica? Is it what is it? What is that like? If you don't mind me asking, that is.
No problem. Okay, so from I came here, I realized that you would say that it's maybe men it is in the minority because the population is relatively small. So you'd say that men are in the minority, are men short. So you'll find that women will be more available. So that's one difference from Jamaica. You readily find women more to approach you and it's not hard
That's
for
what
you,
I was going
So
to ask.
once you come in the era, they'll know that yes, once you come in the era, they'll know that a new man is there, and you almost get that feel that they are coming towards you, ready to introduce themselves, and I guess see where we go from there, But that's what I realized, But I try to keep my ground still. So
All right.
that's I
So let
but
me
I
ask
realized
you.
that.
So is it that they bring food or just come and introduce, or how bold of a experience have you had?
Well, in general, it has not gone that deep, but it depends on the location where you would make that interaction, you know. But I've gone to the supermarket, I've encountered it. I've been to church and I've encountered it, and I've been, you know, maybe not so much when you go on patient care, because when I'm on patient care, I'm focusing on the patient mainly. But, you know, I've picked it up fairly in general, you know.
All right.
But
All right.
it's mainly from the conversation, you know, maybe not to go and offer anything, but, you know, mainly from the conversation, you know,
All right.
you can pick it
All
up.
right. I see. So, in terms of food, talk to me a little bit about the food. What is the one thing that you would say from Turks and Caicos that you would tell anybody, try this particular food? And then in general, what the food is like?
Okay, so the national dish here is what they call it, conch fritters. So the island is, as most islands, they are big on fishing, so they have a lot of seafood. So conch, lobster, fish in general, sinapa, you know, all the different ranges. So they are big on seafood. So what I find, well, like I said, the national dish is conch fritters, but they do conch in all different form, shape, size, type. And also another thing very popular here is grits. So they do grits in all things. They put grits in soup, and they have a thing they call it conch sauce, you know. And but it's I tried the grits already, but I don't know if it's the way how that person it was prepared then, but it was bland, so it sort of turned me off. So but in general, I basically stick to what I know. So I'm a fish and chicken person. So when I go out, I'll just try to eat fish and chicken, and most of the time I stick to fish, because I like the what they call it, the chest or the breast of the chicken, and also the wing. But what I find here, most places they don't do whole chicken, so it's just chicken parts. So you just gotta have leg and thigh, and those are not my favorite parts. So I just stick to basically fish when I go out. But I help myself in the kitchen, so I will prepare most of my meals. But when I was on the main island where I was assigned when I just came here, Providencialis or Provo, they have a few Jamaican restaurants there. So I can always get my Jamaican meal, you know. So you get your breakfast, you can get ackee and saltfish, you can get saltfish and beans, cabbage and saltfish, your fried dumpling, your food. So, you know, I didn't really have to experiment too much.
Right.
But I know that they're big on their conch and conch fritters, their grits, and like I say.
So you weren't missing anything when you were on Prov then, because you get your jerk chicken, you sound like you got everything that you'd get in Jamaica.
Yes, basically, you get everything there. And like I say, you have more than one.
Sorry. I was gonna say apart from the mango.
Yes. Apart from the mango, and they have mangoes here, but it's mainly like what you call Bambi. And most of the time, the thing about Turks and Caicos Islands, they don't have any factories here. They don't have any widespread farming agriculture, because the soil is a limestone type soil they have here, because it's a small island. It's basically the whole island is like a coastline, so it's basically limestone, so it's not conducive for farm. So you have mainly Jamaicans personal start out, just get some topsoil and do their backyard farming. But on a whole, you don't have any widespread government farming. Apart from the island Undo, they have a government farm here with some Jamaican in charge of it, and they grow a lot of crops here. But this island is the best when it comes down to rainfall. So it a lot of greeneries here, and topsoil is better here. So that's why they can have it. So even some other persons, locals also have their farm they're doing. And the other day I saw somebody post some breadfruit. They have breadfruit here. They have bananas. They have coconuts are plentiful here on all the islands, I think. But That's the main thing. They don't have their own factories, so everything basically have to be imported into the island. So it has to be shipped into the country, and then it has to be shipped again by barge to the other island. So that again make the cost of living here is high. So rent is high, food stuff is high, you know, basically.
You just answered my next question, which was the cost of living one, and you just answered it. Perfectly answered it.
Okay. But the other thing, Xavier, you'd have heard, I guess, that Turks and Caicos Island is what they call a tax haven. So we don't pay salary tax here. There's no GCT here. They have import duty that they charge. I guess that's where they make the most revenue. So because there are a lot of things coming in, those are in charge on those items: import duty, stamp duty on land transactions, permits. It's very expensive. So if somebody to come to work here, 2 categories of workers when you come in, you're gonna be under. If you are government workers, in my case, you get a government stamp. So the government will be responsible for sponsoring me, and they get my stamp in my passport. So I'm authorized to live and work. But if you come as in the private sector, you'd have to get a permit. So it's the same way your employer would have to put up the money for that permit. And I understand that it's like in the thousands of dollars for a permit. So to operate a business here, you have to pay a license. So, and it's expensive also. So that's one thing why there's no international fast food chain nowhere in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Because I guess I understand from the licensing, I heard there was KFC was here at one point, I was told, but it was so expensive for the license, and they weren't having that much of a profit making, so they had to close it down. So they have some local entities that they do their own thing that will compare to KFC. Not really compare. They do fish, chicken, and chips, and but it's not nowhere near KFC, but it's their KFC. That's what they call it here. So it's their KFC. So you will go and get your $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever amount you want of chicken and chips. And it's very fast going. From early morning, that place is open, and it closes very late. So that's their style of KFC, you know. But there's no international fast food here.
So when you go to Jamaica, you that's the only place you can get the best KFC.
Yes. When I go home, I'm coming up, persons will ask me to bring up patties for them. They have a place in Providential, it's called Patty Place. They do juicy beef patty. I don't know if it's done locally or they bring it up, but they do patty there, and they do what we call vegetarian meal. So they will serve ackee and saltfish. They will do what they call it, stew, peas and those things, you know. So it's good quality. Yes. So they have a good clientele going right there. When I was in Provo, that's where I go most days when I'm at work to get my lunch, you know. So it's one of the better local places that they have there, you know.
Good. So let me ask you about music there. Are you hearing what's a dominant music, and are you hearing reggae music there on Turks and Caicos?
Okay, so the local music that they have here is a music they call ripsaw, or they call it rake and scrape. So it's similar to our reggae, not reggae, or Gary. So the band have keyboard player, drum, guitarist, the vocalist, and also you have this unique thing now. They have a saw. So a person is operating a saw that they bend the saw and then touch it, and it gives a different sound. So that's what they use to make the rip saw, or they call it rake and scrape. So it have this sound to our Gary. It's very lively, and that's their thing. So they will have celebration all over through the year and different function. Once they are even official function, once they finish with the official part of it, you'll hear the rake and scrape start to play, and people dancing, and it's their big thing. But they don't have a lot of radio stations, and I guess this transmission is poor, so you don't readily hear a lot of persons playing music. But I know live functions, and even when you're listening to some stations, you will hear that coming out, apart from your You know, I guess you can pick up some station that will be playing reggae music, but it's not that you're gonna just hear it being played regularly.
So it's called
Ripsaw. I guess is it the type of saw, and what they call it, rake and scrape.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So
interesting.
So it's like in the Gary they have the grater. So in Gary they use the grater,
right,
and that give that unique sound. Well, I guess for them is the ripsaw that give it that rake and scrape type of sound.
Nice.
But like I said, I've heard it and it's very lively. You know, it's very lively.
Nice. And it sounds like it's like a folk type of custom that they're passed down from generations.
Yes. You have older folks involved in it, and seem as if the younger folks are into it also. But you have one gentleman on the island I'm on. He seemed to be the pioneer in it because he has done. I've listened to interviews with him, and he seemed to be the pioneer. Right now, there's a restaurant on the island I'm on where tourists comes there, and you will see him sometimes during the week playing for them also. So, and he seemed to be the pioneer in it.
Good. All right, so I'm winding down. Couple other questions here now. So, if somebody was to visit, and I know multiple islands, you said seven that's livable, and 30 that's out there. But if there was one activity or event or attraction that you would recommend, and you would say, boy, if you come to Turks and Caicos, if you can do this, what would that be?
Okay, so overall, Turks and Caicos Islands is renowned for the most beautiful beaches, they say, in the whole world. So tourists come here. One of their main revenue generating thing is tourism. So you have tourists coming from all over here, predominantly from the US market, but all over. So they have some of the best beaches. Even though in Jamaica we have 7 miles of white sands in Negril all over Ocherias, Montego Bay, but here and all the islands you will have portion of it that very beautiful beaches. So and all the attractions that go with it. So you will have the parasailing. Well, we have that in Jamaica. They'll have the diving. They have a thing where you call it the thing is kayak. Is a little boat that you 2 person or 1 person can go out in, and also, but for they have their horseback riding just the same. They have bike trail, and also the other surrounding islands. Now, each of them have their own unique attraction. So the island I'm on, they have an expanse of caves that I've been in one of them, and it's very beautiful. You have the rat bats, you have the water, some dark areas, very beautiful, you know. And limestone. Also we have and also you have there's one thing that we have here. There's a flamingo. Well, the island I'm on, you have a lot of swamps, ponds. So you have a lot of wasteland basically, because like I say, it's under 2,000 people on this island, and it's fairly large area. So a lot of underdeveloped area, wasteland and ponds. So they have one particular area where you have a lot of flamingos. So it's a tourist attraction. So they have a viewing point. You come there, we register with the person in charge of the cultural area, and they will take you there, and you go and stand up and view, and you will just see that pond full of flamingos. So you also have a great house because in the olden days they used to harvest cotton. So they have a great house where they say was one of the cotton farms. So it is there you can go and get your tour, and also another island they used to have salt production. So I've been to that island. That's South Caicos, one of the Caicos banks. So you will look out in the sea and you see some areas like you'd have rice paddies in Jamaica. Then you will see that some rectangular, some square areas that they farm out with rocks, stones, and you can see that's what I was told. That's where they used to catch the seawater and let it stay there, and when it dry it out, then I guess they would harvest the salt from it. and you have a lot of donkeys are on those smaller islands where they used to use a donkey to move the product. So right now on that island, you would have, it's as if you have more donkeys than motor vehicle. So when you're driving on the road, you have to be looking out for donkeys, because I give you an instant. I was at my apartment one day, and when I listened, I heard like movements outside. And when I look on the veranda, there was about three, not donkeys, horses. Three horses were just walking. One came right up onto the veranda, almost approaching the door to come inside. I was so amazed.
Wild horse?
Yes, they were all part of the same trade that they used to have. So they are there. Horses and donkeys, they are just roaming around. Like I say, you have to be looking out for them, because they are just there on the road in the yard. And at nights you hear them out there also. When you wake up and come outside, we used to have the ambulance park at my apartment. You come outside, you see animal dung all around the place. The landlord, I guess sometimes he clean it up. So it's amazing. But they have a lot of attractions are here that persons come can be exposed to. And like I say, you have a lot of tourists coming here just for that. They have a private island adjoining next to the island I'm on now, known as Parrot Key. It's a private island, so there's a major hotel there, and they have a lot of private residents. It is rumored or said, I guess it's even documented, that a lot of movie stars, Hollywood star, they own houses there, and they come here, Turks and Caicos Island in general, they come for honeymoon, so it has that to it. It's very big and tourism attractions here. So it's a nice country.
So let me ask you this question before my last question. When you moved there, what would you say was your biggest adjustment? What was the thing you had to adjust to the most when you got there?
Okay, before I even got here, when I was selected and was to come here in April 2018, I was told then that normally they would put you up in a hotel until you find your permanent accommodation. But I was told then that because it was the end of the fiscal year, being April, they didn't have any money in the budget to accommodate me at the hotel. So what my director did then, the person who would be in charge of my department, he had gotten in contact with me after I was selected, and he said that was the situation. So he actually went and found the apartment that I should stay and made contact, link up myself and the landlord, and I had to agree to pay the 2 months money when I come up. And also they told me that normally they would pay my plane ticket, but they didn't have the money to pay it, so I had to buy the ticket, and when I reach an island, they would refund me. So basically I had to come up with a portion of money to cover my 2 months rent and my plane ticket and have a little spending money. So I had to thank friends and family. I didn't have all the money on my own, but I put together the package and I came up. And again, when I arrived on island, it was the same director who met me at the airport. He took me straight to the apartment. Actually, he had gotten the key from the landlord, and because the landlord was at work, she's a JP and she worked privately. So he got the key, took me straight to the apartment, and it was a lovely apartment. And afterward, he took me to his office and started the whole process of settling me in, because he had to get NIS card. So he took me to the NIS office. I had to get health card. He took me to the health department, and I had to get a bank account so that I could get my salary posted in my account. And all of that, I think he went over and beyond what he should do normally. And he was there with me all the different areas. Actually, another three of us were scheduled to come up for the positions. And I was the person who arrived. And then I think the next week another person came. But he started out with me, and he was there to get the bank account. It took us almost a day and a half, because that's the thing here. Things are on the slow side, as persons, I guess they're set in their ways, and they just, they're not so fast. So, even though it's not a people, there's not a lot of people, but they just move slow, I guess. So it was very tedious, but he really helped me through the process, and I I have to lift my hats off to him, and it made it a bit easier for me to settle in. But one issue I had with Providencialis, and I guess it's because of it, the limestone soil, it tend to be a lot of dust. So where the apartment I was staying, I would say would be like in the mid in terms of quality or the terrain or the area. So you have like the eastern part of the island is the tourism mecca. So there is very beautiful, pretty, lot of paved road. Your driveway and all your area would be nice and proper lawn. But Carly, I was in the second most developed area. So the roadway was all right, but the yard space wasn't no grass or not paved, so it was a lot of dust. So that was some adjusting. When I eventually bought a car and the veranda would be full of dust, the car would be full of dust, you had to be constantly cleaning, So I had to adjust to it. And the island I'm on now, two concern is basically you have mosquitoes most of the time, because I told you it's a lot of rainfall and swamp ponds,
right.
So that's gonna be breeding ground. So sometimes in the year it can be a lot of mosquitoes, and again, we have mosquitoes in Jamaica, but it's more than what I'm used to. So sometimes it's challenging, but you just have to stay inside the houses. Most of the time they have screen, or once you're inside, you're really okay. But if you go outside when it's height of mosquito season, is that they want to eat you alive. So
well, good.
Yeah. I had to make some adjustment for those,
So, second to last question. You land in Jamaica. What is that first thing you do when you land in Jamaica? Whether it be you say you go get some fried fish or Kentucky or the beach or whatever. What's that first thing you do when you land in Jamaica? And I know you just come back. So, what's that first thing you do?
Okay, I should also mention to you about the water here. So they don't have any rivers. So there's no freshwater facility. The water that you get here is desalinated water. So it's water that they filter from the sea. So the island I'm on now, it's mainly well. So every yard have a well. They just drill and get a pump and filter and they get water. But some areas the water it's on the salty side, because it's basically sometimes they go straight and get like the seawater they get in, while some they will get a reservoir of water that's been filtered underground. So the quality sometimes varies. So where I'm now, it's more on the salty side. So you will feel it. We don't drink the water. We don't cook with it. So you have to buy a bottled water. They have a bottling station that I guess they filter the same seawater, but they filter it down to a finer process. So it's not it's more that you can use it for that purpose. And you have other imported water that you can get to buy. But that's the thing. If I land in Jamaica, the first place I want to go is to go and get a nice shower, just fresh, clean water, just to get out. But I love the sea here, but I will go to the sea when I get my days off, and I enjoy my nice remote. But after that, I want to go and get my nice, fresh, clean bath. So that's what I would look forward right away. And the other thing, like I say, I don't get a lot of dominoes to play, so I might find the first corner I can stop and get a game of domino, and then I would take it to the food. I love my mother's my mother do, I would say, the best. I guess I'm biased, but I believe she do the best potato pudding and also cornmeal pudding. So I have some to take up with me. But after time that will finish, because I will share it with all my friends and colleagues. So I can't wait to come back down to get some, and even fried fish. She does the best fried fish. So I will do mine here, but nothing like mommy's cooking. So I look forward to come and just get that. So first thing, get a nice fresh shower, and get some mommy's cooking, and get a game of dominoes.
Good stuff, Franklin. Good stuff.
Yes, yes.
My last question is this one, and I believe I know, as you had mentioned, there is a diversity of people there, but I believe English is the official language. in Turks and Caicos.
Yes, that's correct.
When people are saying goodbye, like Jamaica, we say little more, catch you later, fun strong, you know, you know, we use just any little slang to say, you know, bye. When they're saying bye, the locals, that is, in Turks and Caicos, you're gonna teach me what the locals say, and that's how we're going to end today.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's much different from what we would say, but because predominantly it's English they speak. The locals per se, they will have maybe a local Creole, and they will talk a little deeper because sometimes I don't hear them clearly. But it's predominantly English. The Haitians now they speak French Creole.
Right.
So, and then you have some you have Dominicans here also. So even some of my co-worker, they one person in particular, he speaks Spanish because his girlfriend is a Dominican, so he has learned their language. But the Haitians now, what I've picked up when I was in Provo, I used to stay by the hospital with the ambulance, and there was this Haitian security officer there, and basically it's three things I learned from him. So for thank you, it's merci.
Okay.
So merci for thank you, and good morning is bonjour, which is straight French, and good night or good evening is bonsoir. So those are the three main things I pick up from the Haitians. But like I say, for the locals per se, the Turks and Caicos Islanders, the most part is gonna be English they speak. Like I say, it can be a little bit deep and so forth. But they will just say later or bye.
All right. So it's basically later.
Yes.
So Franklyn, listen, thank you for spending some time with us, giving us some of the history, telling us about Turks and Caicos and how you got there. Really appreciate it. So, as they say in English, in Turks and Caicos, later.
Yes, it was a pleasure for me to be here. Well, thank you for having me, and you know, I look forward to more things like this, and you know, we'll talk again. Thanks much.
All right then. Thank you. Show some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.